Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're back in Snapshot 23W13A. And yes, another 120 snapshot has released. This is a very small one. It literally only adds 1 changes and then a load of 120 bug fixes. So let's jump straight to it. As you can see, GUI scale here, you can now actually control that by holding control and then scrolling with your mouse wheel, and as you can see it gets either bigger or smaller depending on what way you scroll. So that is another accessibility kind of change that you can now obviously do. You can also obviously change it by just clicking the button. So now let's quickly cover some of the bugs. The first bug is sniffers that are being ridden. So if we quickly just ride ourselves on this actual sniffer, as you can see I'm now mounted on. The actual positioning of the player is now a lot lower. When it does dig down, as you can see, you do float, but when it's actually walking around naturally, you are now at a reasonable height. Before, you would sink right down into the sniffer, and this was the same with baby sniffers. You'd actually sit on baby sniffers a lot better. Now, as you can see, you actually sit on baby sniffers really high up, and normal sniffers you sit on perfectly fine. It was the other way around before, so that is a bug that has been fixed. And also a sniffer that is digging. If we quickly just let one of the actual sniffers dig, the actual digging particles should now be lower in the ground, so it actually looks like it's digging the blocks its heads in. As you can see, the particles are a lot lower now. They are not so much in the air or hovering a bit off the ground. There is also another fix with baby sniffers. Their actual model was inconsistent with Bedrock Edition, I think. So that has also been fixed. And also, when sniffers would walk inside of cobwebs, their actual animations wouldn't play. So that's now no longer the case, and whether they are in cobwebs or not, they will still play their walking animations. If we quickly just try and get this one to walk, it should eventually start trying to get out. Yep, there you go, as you can see, and its animations are being played. The actual sniffer's walking animation was also broken when walking on ice blocks, so if it was walking on ice, packed ice or blue ice, its actual walking animation would be broken, but it looks like it still is. As you saw, it went in like super slow motion when, yeah look, as you can see, it's going in like super slow motion when it's on the ice, which it shouldn't be the case. So that still seems to be a bit broken. There was a bug where the sniffer egg faces weren't cold when actually covered by blocks. The final two was if you was actually to kill a sniffer. So if we quickly was to take this one out, they would beforehand drop moss blocks. That is now no longer the case. They will now only drop a tiny amount of XP and nothing else. And also there was a bug where the actual sniffer egg would be able to be destroyed by water. As you can see, the water now just flows straight around it or past it. There's a few fixes to the brush. The brush was in third person held incorrectly, so you'd held it, I think, the other way around. That has now been fixed. As you can see, in both hands you hold it by the actual handle. There was also a bug where you could actually brush through entities. As you can see, I'm now clicking through this entity and it's not letting me actually brush until I move away from it. There was also a bug when actually brushing with your left hand, that the particles would display in the wrong place. That is now fixed and they will always display in the actual correct location. There's a few actual changes to how editing signs work. If you was to click the actual sign at an angle, it would always edit the back of the sign. It's now depending on like where you're looking. If you're looking at the black back half, then it will edit the back. If you're looking at the front half, then it will edit the front. Also, if you was to edit a sign while holding an item that was placeable, so like leaves or blocks, it wouldn't actually let you edit that sign. That has also been fixed, so you can now edit a sign no matter what. And also the glow and behold advancement, which is gotten from clicking actual glow ink on signs, was gotten from waxing a sign while holding glow ink in your hand. That is no longer the case, and it will now only be gotten from actually glow inking a sign. Camels that were riding entities would be stuck in the dashing animation. So if you was to dash with them and then put them in a boat or something, they'd always show the dashing animation until you left the world or unloaded them and reloaded them. That is now no longer the case, and also camels can no longer swim while sitting down. It was a bug where they could actually swim in water while they were sitting or laying down. 2 more bug fixes for the camel. If you was to actually put a saddle on a camel, it would play twice as if you was putting 2 saddles on. That is now no longer the case and it will only play once. And also, if you was actually to dash with a camel, other players within the world might not be able to see the dashing animation. That is now once again fixed, so other players will be able to see if you actually dash while on the camel. If you was to put entities on other mobs with the /ride command, sometimes their AI would break and they would either not move or they would have broken movement. That is now fixed, so if an entity is riding another entity, the entity that is being ridden should now be able to move and walk exactly like if it had no entity on top of it. If actual horse mobs were walking on any of these woods, also warped wood was one of them, if a horse was walking on top of these woods, it would play a normal walking sound. Now it will play the wood sound, so the horse is actually walking on the wooden blocks. The pink petals have now been moved in the creative inventory to be with the other flower types, so as you can see they are now right next to all the others. If you actually had a torch flower growing in the actual floor, its second growth stage was actually the same as its final growth stage. So you would actually see it fully grown, although it wasn't fully grown. That is now fixed, and the actual growth stage is now different for all of the actual stages. There was also a bug with the actual pitcher plant. If you was to bone meal the second half, it would not actually count as you bone mealing it, and nothing would happen. You can now bone meal the top or the bottom, and the actual plant will actually grow. As long as it actually has a top, if you try and right click the top when it's just one block tall, nothing will happen, as you can see. The torch flower in a flower pot is now within the potted plant's actual tag. The actual pitcher plant is now within the flowers tag and also the 2 tall flowers tag. There was also a bug where, okay, it seems like that's not actually fixed. There was a bug that was meant to be fixed where you could place a block and break the pitcher plant, but as you can see I can still do that, so that don't seem like it's actually been fixed. The advancement 2x2 is now fully working again. There was a bug because the sniffer breeding was changed, the 2x2 advancement wouldn't work. That is now fixed and that advancement can now actually work again. And also, if you was to actually plant down the pitcher plant and then you was to break the actual block underneath it, the actual pitcher plant wouldn't pop off and it would just sit there floating. That has now been fixed, and as you can see it will once again pop off. That's it within this snapshot. It's once again a very small one. I think they have just tried to squash as many bugs as possible. Hopefully we'll see a bit more content within the next one, but we've basically seen everything that's been announced for 1.20 now, so it wouldn't surprise me if for the foreseeable future all the actual snapshots are just bug fixes and little minor tweaks, but we'll have to wait and see. So if you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.